We start with our Newsmaker segment and take a look at tourism and convention activity in the greater Kansas City area as we approach National Travel and Tourism Week in early May. Joining me for that discussion now is the President and CEO of Visit KC, Jason Fulvey. Mr. Fulvey, welcome to Ruckus. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
You joined Visit KC in, I think, September of last year. You had spent 16 years in Pittsburgh in a similar job. You must have seen some things in Kansas City that you thought were attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. I was here about 13 years ago on business, and when I left, really didn't think that I'd ever be back to Kansas City.
Because it was moving along so well, or it didn't have any hope?
No, it really didn't have a whole lot going on. And I was, being in Pittsburgh 13 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot going on there either. But when they called me for the interview, I told my wife that, I've been here, I'm going to go listen to these folks, but I'll be back tomorrow, no worries. And I got done with the first round of interviews, called my wife and said, they want me to come back, and I think you need to come and check this thing out. There's a lot going on here. So it was very exciting to see the transitions that Kansas City has gone through.
Talk a bit about Visit KC and what it is and what its job is. It used to be called, I think, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. You try to attract people to come to Kansas City for tourism purposes and to stage their conventions here.
That's correct, yeah. So Visit KC, when you break it down to the bare bones, it's a sales marketing agency. So it's our job to market this destination and this region for visitors, whether that be leisure travelers or conventioneers. And we kind of pull all the pieces together. I kind of liken it to a real estate agent, right? We don't own any of the assets, but we're charged with marketing and selling those assets to prospective customers. And our job is to bring the customers and the assets together to close the deal.
And the KC and Visit KC doesn't just mean Kansas City, Missouri. It means the entire KC metro area?
Yeah, technically we're charged with filling hotel rooms in Kansas City, Missouri. But when you take a look at travelers and the way that they travel, they don't see the state line road boundary or the river boundary. They really want to come to the region. So we intrinsically have to promote the entire region.
How is the Visit KC organization funded?
Yeah, a large portion of our revenue stream comes from a portion of the hotel tax. Okay. So as it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, yeah. Right? The more hotel rooms we fill, the more revenues that come in through that channel, and then we get a portion of that.
For a long time, there's been discussion about the need for a major convention hotel in downtown Kansas City. One is apparently on the way, will be built next year or two.
Right.
How important is that going to be?
Oh, it's critical. Because that hotel, unlike some of the others that have been built, is really a demand driver. We have a lot of groups, convention groups, that have looked at Kansas City in the past, and we didn't have that tight hotel package around the convention center. And now with this new product, we certainly will.
And that might have kept Kansas City from getting the Republican convention in 2016.
I'm sure it came into play.
How about the new airport? Is that going to be critical?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the hotel or the airport in its current status is a very nice airport, but we need to change with the times. Air travel has changed. Security issues have changed. And we've actually have documented groups that have said that when you get a new airport, we'll take a closer look at it.
Let me ask you about Travel and Tourism Week coming up in early May. That's been around since 1983 in the days of Ronald Reagan. Yeah. The theme this year is Travel Matters. Briefly, why does it matter so much to Kansas City?
Well, and I think it not only matters to Kansas City, but as a nation, as a whole, it gives us an opportunity to really put a spotlight on travel and hospitality and tourism and the impact that it has on our economy. When we look at how many people we had come through the gates in Kansas City in 2016, it was over 25 million visitors into Kansas City in 2016. That was $5.5 billion in economic impact. That's direct economic impact, not calculating a halo effect where you have the other ancillary services that are attached to travel and tourism.
Got to stop you there. Thanks very much for coming in. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Come back and see us.
Absolutely.
That is Jason Fulvey. He is president and CEO of Visit KC. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus.